All along Florida's Gulf Coast, the race to escape is on. Residents filling sandbags, boarding up windows, and trying to clear debris that Hurricane Helene left behind. With up to 15 feet of storm surge possible, state officials are preparing for the largest evacuation since Hurricane Irma in 2017. Freeways already gridlocked for miles. Tampa's mayor with this blunt warning.
If you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
And Misha, Speaker Mike Johsnon called the federal response in North Carolina a massive failure today. Not surprising for someone who is, a Trump acolyte. And yet when he was asked if he'd commit to calling Congress back into session to shore up more federal disaster funding, he said that he would not. Meanwhile, President Biden, by the way, is the one urging congressional leaders for additional funds.
Mike Johnston kissed Donald Trump's ring a long time ago.
Forgive me for using a Trump quote here, but for anyone who thinks the Republican Party is actually the pro-life party,
we're going to have to send you to a psychiatrist to have your head examined.
Because at this point, that's more inaccurate than calling Jeffrey Dahmer a fucking vegan. And if you're not infuriated yet, just wait till you hear from Mike Johnson's stupid facehole that on humans with a soul is known as a mouth, why he and the Republicans don't want to and won't give hurricane victims relief money until after the election. Because Republicans know so little about the weather, they probably think Helene and Milton were trying to cast early ballots for the Democrats.
Hurricane Helene, after news came out that the death toll from the storm had risen to over 200 people, Green decided to go full conspiracy theorist. Writing on X, quote, "Yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done."
Now, even though Republicans have been lying through their thick-skulled Neanderthal teeth about how the Democrats are redirecting FEMA funds to pay for illegal immigration, which is actually something Trump did that we made a whole video on last week, you all likely won't be surprised by Republicans' greatest fear, the facts. Because President Joe Biden asked Congress to immediately approve funds for hurricane relief, and the Republican House Speaker said no, that he would not do it until after the election. Which is disgusting because in September alone, Hurricane Helene devastated much of the southeastern U.S., with entire communities being destroyed and hundreds of people getting killed. And Biden and Harris rightly already provided aid to those affected people, but it wasn't enough, so they called on Congress to do more, asking a letter to Congress on the 4th to immediately release more funds. You're not going to believe Mike Johnson's despicable response for not calling Congress back from their recess that won't end until after the election to help people survive. And I'll play that for you in just a second, but just to drive this home, with Hurricane Milton about to ravage the coast of Florida right after Hurricane Helene, it is so bad that this meteorologist got emotional talking about the devastation that is likely to come.
Veteran meteorologist John Morales emotional at the storm's increasing threat.
I apologize. This is just horrific.
I warned the Congress of this potential shortfall even before Hurricane Helene landed on America's shores. I requested more funding for SBA multiple times over the past several months. And most recently, my administration underscored that request as you prepared a continuing resolution to fund the government. Will you call Congress back before the election? Do you need to?
Look, we'll be back in session immediately after the election. That's 30 days from now. The thing about these hurricanes and disasters of this magnitude is that it takes a while to calculate the actual damages, and the states are going to need some time to do that. I'm from Louisiana. We're a hurricane-prone state. We're experts at disaster recovery. We've done this. You don't just send estimates to the federal government. You send specific needs and requests based upon the actual damages, and that takes some time, especially with storms of this magnitude.
And there are a number of agencies that are all fighting for a piece of the pie who say they can't have stability and count on what they need because this is the way we're funding the government piecemeal.
Yeah, continuing resolutions are no way to fund the government, and I sure wish that we didn't have to do that.
Mike Johnston kissed Donald Trump's ring a long time ago, and I don't expect him to sing from another songbook that is not already co-signed by Donald Trump. But he also recognizes that all of them know that they are lying. They are lying because they want to spread animus towards migrants because they believe that that's going to help them at the polls. They are looking at the darkest underbelly of American culture that that culture that likes to out-group, that culture that has a tendency to be racist, xenophobic, and they are playing very hard on it. Mike Johnston recognizes that this is a problem. He's seen the devastation himself. He knows how appropriations work. He does not care because at the end of the day, the Republican Party is ruled by Donald Trump. Whether he's in the White House or whether he's on the sidelines or running for office, the Republican Party is the party of Trump. And Mike Johnston is powerless without Donald Trump. And he believes that, he knows it, he trusts it. And at the end of the day, he doesn't care how many lies he has to tell. He will do it. How many people are harmed in the process. He is doing this because it is a calculation that he has made because he believes that it's going to help Donald Trump get elected.
Right. Because Republicans would rather run on a problem and lie about it to make it look like Democrats' faults. Your lives be damned. Mike Johnston, Republicans writ large, could not care less how many people die in this storm, as long as their stupid style of government ensures that there is a problem for them to rile up their base about. It is unfortunately just the latest in a long list of examples of times that when Republicans lie, people fucking die. Please go out and vote. I will drop links to voter registration and registration checks in the description down below. Thank you for watching. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I'll see you all in the next one.